My name is Caleb Vance. I'm 37, and the road is my home. The truck engine is the only music I hear. I cross states, hauling freight across the country. Late nights in the cab are a habit. Dashboard lit, asphalt unrolling ahead. I make quick stops for strong coffee at truck stops. Just routine. It's a life that doesn't stop. One delivery ends, and I'm already on to the next. That's when Silas Thorne's farm light appeared, a lonely dot in the dark. He gave me strong coffee and started talking, insisting I shouldn't leave before sunrise. I thought, just old man's talk. I just wanted to stick to my route. But then, something haunted me. The road I'd just passed was ripped apart, like something giant had torn through everything. I parked the truck. The engine went quiet. I got out. The cold cut deep. I felt alone. Didn't know what was gonna happen. Silas, with eyes that had seen too much, appeared at the door. He offered coffee. As I took the mug, he started talking, his voice low, serious. It was a warning. Not a request, but almost an order. The hot coffee went down, gave me some relief. Silas looked at me seriously, the porch light on his face. "Don't leave before the sun comes up, son," he repeated, his voice deep. "This road isn't the same at night." I just wanted to leave. The rush was eating at me. I thought it was superstition, just bullshit talk. I thanked him for the coffee, already thinking about starting the engine. The coffee went down hot, but the air was freezing. That feeling on my neck wouldn't go away. Silas, quiet, watched me, his gaze giving me the creeps. It wasn't anger, but a kind of worry I'd never seen. I tried to blame it on tiredness, the long night, the road. I didn't know what to do, with a lump in my throat. I just wanted to grab my truck and get out of there, fast. I started the truck. The engine roared loud. Silas was still at the door, watching me. I gave a quick wave, barely looking. I hit the gas, feeling huge relief to be getting out of there. All that talk made me nervous. I felt a strange pang in my gut, but ignored it. Just tiredness, the rush to finish the route and go home. I had to go. I drove for a few minutes, and that's when I noticed. The truck noise, loud before, just vanished. Not just early morning quiet, it was different. Engine sounded muffled. Tires made no road sound. Weird, like the sound was sucked out. Chill up my spine. Felt really alone. That chill up my spine made me look. I swear I didn't want to, but the rear view mirror pulled my eye. And there it was. The road. No, it wasn't. Gone. Torn like old paper. Crater after crater. Asphalt, all twisted. Just faint moonlight. Looked like some giant creature ate everything. Heart jumped. A punch in the chest, you know? Started to feel cold fear. Trapped. Felt alone. Didn't know what was next. Silas's warning? Now it made sense. That would mark me forever. My heart was hammering in my chest. I blinked hard, shook my head. No way, I mumbled. My voice shot. It had to be the dark, me being tired. Just some trick my mind was playing. I gripped the wheel, my hands sweaty. Stepped on the gas a bit, like I could outrun that image in the rear view. But it was stuck right there. That torn up road, like a hole in the world. The fear was real, and I had no idea what was next. Couldn't ignore it anymore. I slammed on the brakes. The rig screeched, sending the load forward. I jumped out, my flashlight shaking so bad, the beam was dancing all over. Pointed at the ground. No illusion. The asphalt was there, but in pieces, like someone just ripped it up by hand. Concrete flipped over, rebar twisted. It was real. The road was actually gone. My throat went dry. The adrenaline turned to ice. My head was spinning. I needed a landmark. Something. I whipped around, looking for the old man's farmhouse light. You know? The one that was just there, steady. But there was nothing. Just black. Where the little light used to be, now it was just a dark, dark hole. The farm was gone. Fear just switched to flat-out panic. I was alone. Totally. Felt alone in a way I never had before. I stood there, flashlight still shaking. The air got heavy, freezing, you know? That's when I heard it. A sound. At first, I thought it was just the wind, but it wasn't. It was a whisper, deep, drawn out, coming from that blackness where the farm had been. Sounded like it was coming right out of the ground, from inside the earth. Something alive, right there in front of me, I swear. It wasn't wind. The whisper turned into a low, deep growl, like the earth itself was really mad. An old, ancient anger just seeped into me, getting into every part. Felt a cold inside me I'd never felt before, freezing my bones, just paralyzing me. My feet felt stuck to the asphalt, heavy, like something invisible was holding me. The voice vibrated in my chest, deep inside, like something massive and hungry was there, wanting to just eat everything. The fear choked me, a tight knot in my throat, taking my breath away. Couldn't scream or even breathe. Every time I tried, it was useless. I was just stuck there, defenseless, invaded by something I couldn't understand. Felt too alone, not knowing what would happen to me. And I knew that thing would mark me forever, just eating away at my soul. The sound wouldn't stop, a constant bad hum that echoed in my mind, while the darkness around the truck got stronger, denser, as if a giant creature was swallowing the little light. I saw strange, twisted figures dancing at the corner of my eye. It seemed like they were mocking me, even when blinking. The air was heavy, with a strange and disturbing smell of wet earth, rusty metal, and for sure, fresh blood. A metallic and sweet scent that turned my stomach. I was completely lost. I no longer knew where was front or back, if the world was spinning, or if I was just losing my mind. I felt alone in a bottomless pit, and the doubt if I was going crazy punched me in the face. A strong blow to reality. That was going to mark me forever. In a way, there was no turning back. Panic exploded inside me, a giant wave of pure terror that consumed me. The truck, which before was my safe haven, turned into a tight metal trap from which I couldn't get out. I tried the door handle, pulling with all the force of desperation, but it didn't move an inch. It seemed welded, part of my prison. I hit the window with my fists, then the dashboard, looking for some light, control, or hope, but nothing responded. The silence that came after the engine died was worse than any noise, more terrifying than the growl. It was a heavy, dense silence that swallowed everything, leaving me more alone than ever, at the mercy of whatever it was. I was trapped. The realization hit with an enormous weight, crushing me. The road had vanished, swallowed by the darkness, and my only chance to escape that nightmare had disappeared. That thing cornered me without mercy, closing off all exits. Cold sweat ran down my forehead and back, drenching my clothes, and my breathing was short, gasping, almost a moan. My hands trembled non-stop on the steering wheel, grabbing it like a shipwrecked man. The fear, now physical and real, squeezed my throat with an invisible force, suffocating me, not letting me think straight. Not knowing what would come next invaded me. Something that would never leave me. A mark that would never come off my soul. Then, a loud metallic crack on the truck's roof. A dry, terrifying sound that made me jump. I looked up and saw a deep, jagged mark, like an invisible, giant claw, with power I couldn't even imagine, had torn through the metal of the cab. The sheet metal was dented and twisted, showing the violence of the impact. My heart hammered in my chest, beating fast with panic. Felt like it would explode. Whatever was out there wasn't a trick. It was real. It was there, invading my space, my life. I felt the pressure in the air, an invisible force that started to slowly crush the truck, inch by inch, with me inside, unable to do anything, just waiting for what would happen. Fear turned into pure despair, suffocating me. It was that strong. Trapped, nowhere to go, nothing I could do. That giant thing was toying with me, with my life, showing me who was in charge in that awful place. I felt swallowed by loneliness, in a bottomless pit of helplessness, and not knowing what was coming was a torment that gnawed at me inside, wiping out my hope. That was going to mark me forever, a horrible thing that invaded my life. I had no control over anything, not my body, not my destiny. My certainty that I controlled my own road brought me here, and now I was paying the highest price. The shadow seemed to pulse with a weird, ancient energy, and the voice in my head wasn't just noise anymore. It was like horrible images were thrown straight into my mind. I saw the road unmaking itself in my head, not just crumbling, but being chewed, piece by piece, by teeth that weren't from this world, blades that tore everything apart. The asphalt twisted into spirals of agony, vanishing into the darkness like it had never existed, wiped from the earth's memory. I felt the terror of the trees, of the earth itself being ripped apart, a sharp pain going through my chest, like I was part of that destruction. The voice, clear now, wasn't an empty threat. It was a statement of total power, cold, ancient, and without mercy. It existed before any road, before any city, and could unmake everything whenever it wanted, just because it wanted to. My head was invaded by a horrible truth I couldn't escape. I wasn't just the victim of an accident, but I was seeing something that shouldn't exist. Something that showed me what the universe truly was. That destruction was etched into my soul, something that would never go away. I saw something that shouldn't exist, something that defied all logic, and now it was part of me, a mark that would never leave. I felt completely alone, an emptiness that echoed in the universe. My world had been torn apart, like the road under the creature's teeth, and I was broken inside, beyond repair, beyond fixing. Not knowing what was real, what was truth or illusion, turned into a constant suffering, a broken mirror in my head, showing only strange pieces. Suddenly, the crushing pressure vanished. The growl stopped. That voice in my head went quiet. The dense darkness unraveled like smoke. A heavy silence swallowed the chaos. I took a deep breath, felt instant relief, but my head was confused, and a cold fear still stuck to me. Then, slowly, the sky began to lighten. A weak, gray light pushed back the darkness, showing the twisted landscape. The road, what was left, was all messed up. The emptiness felt worse than the fear, a loneliness that froze my soul. I remembered Silas Thorne's warning, "Don't leave before the sun comes up." He knew. I was stupid, I didn't listen. That thing had already marked me. I tried to move, but everything hurt. The cab was trashed. The roof caved in, almost crushed me. Cracks everywhere. The dashboard was dust. The door handle, which wouldn't budge before, now turned easy, making a weird sound. It felt like whatever held me just vanished, leaving only the mess it made. I stumbled out, my whole body aching. The faint morning light showed the devastation. The road was gone. Ahead, behind, only torn up earth. Giant craters, like something huge had chewed it up, erased the road. I felt alone and cold, scared and not knowing what to do. I grabbed my cell, my hand shaking. No service. The truck's radio just crackled. It wouldn't work. Silas Thorne's farm was gone, like it never even existed. No one was there. I was truly alone, in a place that made no sense. A cold fear, an immense loneliness. It felt like the world had been rewritten. Hours later, with the sun already high, I heard an engine. A police car showed up on a road I didn't even know was there. They saw me, dirty and shell-shocked. They asked if I was okay, if it was an earthquake. I tried to explain, but the words wouldn't come out. They only saw a bizarre accident, not what I saw. Their help was only for the outside, not for inside. What marked me was mine, and no one would understand. At the Hocking County Sheriff's Office, they looked at me with pity. I tried to explain about the torn road and the vanished farm, but they just saw a guy in shock. The words wouldn't come out. Their help didn't reach what I felt inside. The loneliness just grew. The loneliness just kept getting worse. My apartment in Indianapolis felt like a prison. Every night noise, every shadow, reminded me of the growling in the shapes. Sleeping was torture. I'd dream of the road ripped apart, the truck crushed. I'd wake up sweating, out of breath, feeling that thing was still there. The tiredness was an exhaustion that wore me down. Fear. Not knowing what to do, feeling something was invading me all the time. The smell of diesel and trucks set me off. My stomach would flip, my heart pound. The road, once my life, turned into hell. Every patch of asphalt reminded me of the scar, how vulnerable I was. My life as a driver was gone. Stuck home. Loneliness swallowed me. Every short trip was agony. My eyes on the rear view, waiting for it all to collapse again. Fear, not knowing what to do, and feeling invaded constantly. In the mirror, it wasn't me anymore. Caleb Vance was gone. The shadow and uncertainty in my eyes weren't mine. Every reflection in a shop window or a puddle showed something strange, like my dad's old mirror showing a truth. I saw the world as fragile, ready to tear apart. I became suspicious of everything and everyone. I couldn't stay put. I had to find the farm, the old man, you know? I drove dirt roads for days, asking around, but nobody knew anything. They vanished, like they'd never existed. The emptiness was worse than the fear, an uncertainty that got deep inside me. It confirmed what the mirror already showed me. The world wasn't what I thought. I was alone with this thing that marked and invaded me. My life became a list of tasks. Lock everything, day and night. Darkness was the enemy. Only the sun through the window gave me some safety. Fear, a quiet companion, reminded me the world could rip open any second. This uncertainty and the feeling of invasion were my new life. The loneliness of carrying what marked me, a scar nobody saw, was the heaviest part. My name is Ethan Miller. I'm 40. My life was all about deliveries and deadlines, always behind the wheel of my truck. The cab, with that familiar smell of diesel and coffee, was my second home. I trusted my Garmin GPS way too much, believing everything would always go smoothly with my loads. Every day was the same, miles and scheduled stops, the boring night silence only broken by the engine's hum. There was no room for surprises or detours in my routine. It was all planned out. It was one of those mornings, bright sun hitting the road. I started the Peterbilt. The engine purred smooth, and the radio played my usual songs. The landscape flew by outside, familiar, everything just as it should be. It was just me, the road, and the peace this job brought me. A good kind of calm, nothing to worry about. My Garmin GPS was like a co-pilot, you know? Always there, with that calm voice guiding me. It never failed. I couldn't even remember driving without it, without the certainty that every turn, every exit was all on the map. I just followed the directions, no real thinking involved. Technology had made the road easy, taking out all the complications and chances of error. Just fire it up and go. No stress, no surprises. I stopped at a truck stop, one of the ones I knew well. Got out to stretch my legs and grab some strong coffee, just how I like it. While I drank it, I thought about Sarah and the kids, wondering what they were up to. The weekend was coming, and I could already picture myself back home, playing ball with Leo. It was a peaceful moment, just mine, away from the road noise. After coffee, I hit the road again. The sun was already getting low, turning the sky orange. I started climbing Cheat Mountain Pass, and the scenery changed. Huge trees, a greener kind of green. The air got fresher, smelling like the woods. Not much traffic, just me and the Peterbilt. The road was decent, plenty of curves, but I could see far enough. It was a calm, pretty place. I just wanted to get home already. Suddenly, the GPS screen flickered, then went black. The calm voice that guided me, gone. I tried restarting it, even slapped the screen, but nothing. It was right then that the fog, which before was just some wisps down below, started rolling in fast, swallowing the road. In seconds, I couldn't see a foot in front of me. Everything outside turned into just a white wall, and me, who was used to having everything under control, felt completely lost. A strange loneliness hit me. Without the GPS, and with the fog so thick I could barely see the hood, the only thing left was to look for any sign on the road. That's when I saw an old wooden sign, eaten away by time, pointing to a detour I'd never noticed before. It didn't feel right, but it was the only way out of all that white. So I turned the truck. I felt a tightening in my chest, a weird feeling that turned into fear. The road got narrower, the silence heavier, and the loneliness really got to me. I drove that winding road for hours, or it felt like it. The fog was an endless white wall. Then I saw the Sentinel Oak again, and right after, the same old wooden sign that made me turn off. An ice-cold shiver went down my spine. I was on the same stretch, stuck. My heart pounded. Then, standing on the side of the road, I saw the first figure. It just watched. It was there, half hidden in the fog, but I could make out its shape. It didn't move, just stared, an empty gaze that felt like it was drilling into my soul. That shadow on the roadside, almost a dark blur, sent a strong shiver from my spine to my neck. I tried to focus, squinting, but it was always just out of sight. A strange, dark outline. Suddenly, a sound. Not the engine, not the rain. A low static, like a whisper, from close by, in the fog. It didn't belong. A sound that shouldn't be there. It froze me. My ears tried to figure it out, but it just made the feeling stronger. Something nearby. Something I couldn't see. Something wrong. The air got heavy. Fear tightened its grip on my throat. I sped up, trying to escape that static and the feeling I was watched. But ahead, the fog eased up. There it was again, the Sentinel Oak and the old wooden sign. No denying it, I was trapped, going in circles. Then, like a horrifying bookmark, the figure reappeared, standing in the exact same spot. The same outline, the same empty stare. I clearly saw it wasn't just in my head. My stomach churned. The fog got even thicker, wrapping around me. And there it was again, the Sentinel Oak and the sign. This time, it wasn't just one figure on the roadside. There were two. Identical, in the same spot, staring fixedly. My heart skipped. I counted again. It couldn't be. The next time around, there were three. Three identical figures, standing, unblinking, with those empty stares drilling into me. I tried to look away, but I couldn't. They were everywhere in my head. Each one was a punch to the gut. The air in the cab got heavy, hard to breathe. I pounded the steering wheel, yelled, but my voice vanished into the fog, like I hadn't even screamed. Their silence, their silence was the worst. They just watched. I was sure, an icy knot in my stomach. I was trapped in an endless nightmare. I floored it. The truck screamed into the fog, like I was trying to rip right through that white wall. The speed was insane, but I just had to get out of there. I tried slamming on the brakes, thinking maybe I could break whatever was happening, but it did nothing. The truck just swayed and kept dragging me to the exact same spot. I threw it in reverse, wrenched the wheel hard. Useless. It was like the truck had a mind of its own, an invisible magnet pulling me back. My head was racing. I couldn't think straight. I flicked on the high beams, honked the horn non-stop, a loud blast that just seemed to vanish into nothing. The figures, they didn't even twitch. They just stood there, like statues, not caring one bit about my desperation. Every time I tried and failed, a piece of my hope died, turning into this freezing fear that just locked me up. I didn't know what they were or what they wanted, and that not knowing was driving me crazy. That low static I'd heard before, it started to grow, you know? It turned into whispers, but I couldn't make out what they were saying. It felt like it was coming from inside the cab itself, like right next to me. I looked all over, behind me, at the seats, but there was nothing there. the passenger door, which was locked. I swear I saw it shiver a little. The hair on my neck stood up right then. I felt a cold breath right there on my skin. The smell of diesel and coffee that always kept me company just vanished, and this weird, metallic, damp smell took its place. And in the rearview mirrors, I kept seeing these quick blurs, almost nothing, that disappeared the second I tried to focus. My cab, my safe place, it was invaded. There was no one actually there, but the presence was real, suffocating me, taking my breath, my peace. Cold sweat was running down my forehead, and I just wanted it all to stop. I had to understand. On one of the loops, when the fog lifted for just a quick second, I didn't look away. I stared right at one of them, the closest one. But there was nothing. The eyes were just holes, lifeless, colorless, no pupils. It was such a huge emptiness that it felt like it was sucking everything out of me. It wasn't hate or sadness. It was worse. It was an indifference that just pierced right through me, like I didn't even exist. I felt a chill down my spine that wasn't from outside. It was from inside, freezing me to my core. My head spun, and for a second, I felt small, unimportant, like everything I was, just disappearing. My hands sweated on the wheel, sticking. It wasn't fear of getting hurt or dying. It was fear of disappearing, of being nothing at all. That loneliness, which was already with me, just turned into a bottomless pit. I was there, but it was like I wasn't. Just a ghost among other ghosts. I lost track of time. Hours, maybe days. Everything blurred together. The figures got closer with each loop, clearer, like the fog was framing them. I wondered if I was losing my mind. Were those things real or just my head playing tricks? I pinched myself, hit the steering wheel, trying to wake up from a nightmare that wouldn't end. I didn't know what was real anymore, just fear. My throat was dry, my heart racing. The only thing I knew for sure was that I knew nothing. Fear froze me. I just watched everything go wrong. I felt a lump in my throat that wouldn't go down. I couldn't take it anymore. It was too much. I squeezed my eyes shut, so hard it hurt. I floored the accelerator. The Peterbilt roared. I spun the wheel any direction. It didn't matter anymore. I just wanted it to stop. I felt a strong jolt, a screech of metal, and then a silence that scared me more than the noise. I opened my eyes, gasping. The fog was gone. The road was different, clearer, with the faint light of dawn. I was out. Phew. But the relief didn't last. The exhaustion and shock were much bigger. That place was gone, but what it left in me, oh, that wasn't. The Peterbilt stopped suddenly. The jolt shook me. My body ached, tired not just from driving, but from what had happened. The fog was gone like it had never existed. The road ahead, unknown. Worn asphalt, ordinary trees, nothing familiar. I looked behind me, where I had come from, nothing. No mountain pass, no sign of the hell I'd been through. Just an empty road, a silence that felt heavier than the engine. I tried to breathe, but it was heavy, wouldn't go in right. My mind tried to piece together the night, but it was just a blur of despair and those repeating figures. On the side, where I felt the jolt, there were deep scratches, dents from something strong, with no clear shape. No paint from another car, no pieces left behind. The metal was ripped, like the air itself had done it. I ran my hand over it, feeling the roughness. A shiver. It was real, but it made no sense. The cab, once a safe place, now had that strange, damp, and metallic smell, just like on the mountain road. It felt like they had invaded. I got back in the cab. Everything felt heavy. I hoped things would go back to normal. I tried the Garmin Diesel OTR 800, but the screen was black, dead. I grabbed my cell phone. No signal, just no service. I turned on the radio, which used to keep me company. Nothing but static, an endless hiss. My connection to the world, it was all gone. I was alone, with nothing to guide me. The fear of being alone was huge. I just drove, not thinking, just forward. Then I saw these blinking lights way off. A small spot, a diner and a tire shop. Seeing people, cars, a normal world, it hit me hard. I pulled my truck in. My legs felt like jelly. I could feel their eyes. Red, crumpled clothes, cold sweat. I went into the diner. That coffee and fresh bread smell, usually good, just made me sick now. People seemed far away, their voices a buzzing. All that normal stuff felt fake. I got home, but it wasn't the same. Sarah looked at me with a worry that didn't need words. Leo and Chloe came running, but I just couldn't feel the old joy. That mountain still had me, an invisible wall between us. The fear and loneliness from that night stuck to me, trapping me in a bubble. My family's routine, once so safe, now felt weak and weird. I was a stranger in my own house, and Ethan they barely recognized. After that, I avoided mirrors, anything shiny. Out of the corner of my eye, I'd see shapes, the same figures from the mountain. A visual echo of that hell. Technology failed there, and now I didn't trust anything, not even my own head. Any shadow or glint in the window would freeze me, searching for them, even knowing my mind was making them up. The certainty of who I was vanished, just doubt and paranoia eating me alive. Silence, once good, turned into my enemy. Any static, a weak signal on the radio or phone, it worked now, threw me back to the cab, feeling invaded. I'd turn on the TV, radio, anything, just noise. I needed constant sound to drown out the whispers my head created. My peace of listening was gone for good. City noise, which used to annoy me, became a shield. A desperate attempt to quiet that invisible thing following me. Going back on the road, especially at night or for long hauls, became a bottomless pit. My Peterbilt's cab, once my safe spot, now only brought loneliness and the despair of being stuck in that loop. My career and who I was felt on the line. Every curve, every dark stretch, reignited fear of the unknown and repetition. I even tried another job, but the trauma wouldn't let go. The road took my drive to move forward, leaving me trapped in doubt and loneliness. My name is David Miller, and the road has always been my world. Miles and miles, one after another. Day after day, the engine humming, that was the music of my life. I knew every curve, every truck stop, every landscape that passed by my cab window. It was a solitary routine, yeah, but it gave me a certain purpose. My job was to haul the freight, and I did it right, like clockwork, crisscrossing the country. One night, the fatigue hit me hard. I saw that derelict truck stop, A concrete skeleton I'd passed 1,000 times. I didn't need to stop, you know? But my body was begging for a break. I parked the rig there, in the middle of nowhere. The engine was still warm, the radio just static. Outside, it was pure black. The moon and some weak stars barely cut through the darkness. But it was just a blur. A weird, empty peace that only the road gives you. I turned off the engine. The silence got heavy. Just the wind outside. I thought about Sarah, the kids. Life on the road is like that. You miss them, but you get used to it. It's not bad. It's just my life. I grabbed the cold sandwich and lukewarm coffee, eating slow, staring out at nothing. But the silence outside started to get weird. It wasn't just the engine being off. It was a really heavy emptiness. Not a cricket, not a leaf moving, not even a distant car. It felt like the world had just vanished, just for me. A silence that didn't calm me down. It just made me restless. I started to feel a strange cold, not from the weather, and I huddled deeper into my seat, trying to shake the feeling that something was wrong. I finished my coffee, which was already lukewarm, and stretched out on the seat. Outside, the darkness was absolute. I looked at the truck stop, just looking, you know? And that's when I saw it. In the corner, near a broken light pole, there was something standing still. It looked like a darker shadow, or maybe just the fatigue playing tricks on me. But it didn't move. It was small, still, and it wasn't a shadow. It was a figure. I tried to take a deep breath, you know? My heart was already pounding, way too fast. I thought about getting out, about calling out, but something held me back. It was the time, the place. A kid shouldn't be there. So I honked, a light tap, just to see if it would move. And it moved. Slowly, its head turned. Not its body, just its head. It turned 180 degrees, and those eyes looked at me, empty. My blood ran cold right then, a fear I'd never felt before. But it didn't move, not a muscle. It just stayed there, head turned, staring at me with those empty eyes. Then, slowly, it started to walk, backwards. That's right, backwards, straight for my truck. Each step was slow, dragging, and I could see it never took its eyes off me. My body seized up. The air left my lungs. That wasn't a kid. It was a thing, invading me, a fear that left me unable to move. No, that wasn't a kid. It was a thing that filled me with a fear that just froze me. Its head, already turned, made another weird move. It spun another 180 degrees. This time, it looked like it had no neck, you know? Just the face twisting on its own axis. No bones, nothing. It faced me in the dark. I swear I felt those empty eyes looking deep at me. A cold went right down my spine, locking me up. My heart was pounding so hard, I thought it would rip my chest open. This wasn't a lost child. It was something else, coming into my truck. I couldn't move. It was like my body just shut down. Only my heart was pounding like crazy. It kept coming, one step at a time. I saw its reflection in the truck window, getting bigger and bigger. Those empty eyes still turned backward, looking at me. There was no logic to it, no way. My cab, my safe place, was being invaded by something not normal. The fear was so strong, It made me sick to my stomach. It was almost there, and I couldn't even blink. With each backward step, it got closer. I felt cold sweat run down my forehead. The cab, my refuge, now felt like a cramped trap. It made no sense. Walking backward like that, against everything I knew, it was like the world had turned upside down, and this figure was the proof. I couldn't look away. I was stuck on it. I couldn't do anything, and that just filled me with helplessness. It was at the door. It was there, only a few steps away. I saw the silhouette, but the face was just darkness. Yet I still felt its gaze. It was a weight, a cold thing that cut right through me. My heart was pounding so hard, it felt like a failing engine. It wasn't just the cab it was invading. It was my head. The fear was a knot in my throat, and I knew nothing would ever be the same. It was at the door, right there. I saw its little hand, dirty, pale, slowly lifting. Not a normal kid's hand. It looked old. I don't know. It stretched its arm, slowly, to my door's handle. I felt a shiver from head to toe, like the cold of that hand had touched me deep inside. My cab, my refuge, my only safe place on the road, was being invaded. The handle I always touched, now it was the link to that thing. I couldn't really breathe. My throat closed. Its hand touched it, and I swear I heard a click, a tiny sound. But it echoed in my head like a gunshot. The fear wasn't just what I saw. It was the feeling there was nowhere left to run. The click, it was a dry snap, but in my head it felt like the door had been ripped off its hinges. I yanked the parking brake hard, like it was a shield, and I screamed. It wasn't a word, just a sound torn from my throat. Pure desperation. My hands gripped the steering wheel, knuckles white, shaking. I wanted to tear that hand off, smash it, make it stop, but I couldn't. It was like trying to punch smoke. The doorknob turned. Slow, so slow, with a creak that sounded like it was coming from inside my head. I saw the knob move, but the pale little hand wasn't putting any force on it. It was like the door was opening by itself, on its own will. My whole body was tense, paralyzed, but at the same time, I wanted to throw myself against the door, hold it shut, stop it. But what would I be stopping? It wasn't a person. It wasn't something I could fight. It was a hole opening up in my world, and I was stuck there, watching it happen. The solitude of the road turned into a fear of having nowhere to run. The door opened a crack, maybe an inch. The darkness outside felt stronger, heavier, like it had just pushed its way in with the cold air. And there, in the gap the door made, was its head. But it wasn't a face. No eyes, no nose, no mouth like we know them. It was just stretched gray skin, with a hole where a mouth should be, a ragged tear. And the eyes? Two deep black points, empty, reflecting nothing. Not even the weak light from the dashboard. It was like that wasn't a child. It was a thing, an aberration that had come for me, invading my space. I smelled it. The smell of wet earth and something rotten, suffocating the air in the cab, filling my lungs. My head spun, my whole body cold, trembling. It made no sense. There was no explanation for it. Just pure fear right there, staring at me. That hole where its mouth should be seemed to suck all the oxygen, all my strength. I was alone, completely alone with that thing, with nowhere to go. That hole where its mouth should be seemed to suck all the oxygen, all my strength. I was alone, completely alone with that thing, with nowhere to go. Its head, that faceless thing, started to lean further into the cab, slowly, like it was sniffing me. The rotten smell got stronger, making my stomach turn. I couldn't look away from those black points that were its eyes. It felt like they were seeing right through me, knowing every single one of my fears. My hand grabbed the shifter, trying to find a gear, anything to get me out of there. But my body wouldn't respond. I was paralyzed, my breath caught. It moved a little more, and I swore I saw a smile form in that tear. A smile that wasn't human. It was an invitation to the end, right there, inside my rig. That smile, if you could even call it a smile, it wasn't teeth, it was just a hole. And I felt it. I felt like it wasn't just the air being sucked out. It was my soul, you know, like that thing. It was talking to me without a voice, right in my head. You're broken. You're done for. A whisper not from my ears, but from inside me. My body was shaking so much, I thought I'd just fall apart. The solitude I used to feel out on the road, it had turned into this now. A huge emptiness inside me. It wasn't just fear of what might happen anymore. It was the certainty of what already had. I wasn't the same David anymore. That image, that smell, that empty smile, it was gonna stay with me forever. A mark you couldn't even see, but I'd feel it with every horn blast, every shadow. I lost control. I lost my peace. I was just there, frozen. My soul messed up, and the thing was looking at me like it knew everything. I tried to scream, but only a choked whimper came out. A sound that didn't even sound like me. My body, purely by instinct, lurched back, hitting the seat hard. I wanted to run, wanted to vanish from there, but there was nowhere to go. My hands gripped the steering wheel so tight it hurt. It was pure desperation. No thinking, just feeling. The kid, still walking backward, was just a few feet from the cab, slowly getting closer. My heart was pounding so hard, I thought it would rip through my chest. The truck's engine, which was still running, was roaring loud, and it was the only sound that gave me any hope. With my hands shaking, I jammed it into gear and floored the accelerator. The truck lurched forward violently, throwing everything ahead. I just wanted to get out of there, no matter what. The truck lurched forward violently, throwing everything ahead. I just wanted to get out of there, no matter what. I floored it. The engine screamed, but when I looked in the side mirror, it was still there. The kid, walking backward, didn't stop. It felt like the distance wasn't changing, like it was glued to me. Its silence was the worst part. Just the sound of the engine, and my heart pounding hard. It was supposed to be my shelter, you know? My home on the road, the only place I truly felt safe. But there, with that thing stuck in the side mirror, the truck turned into a trap, a cage. I was trapped inside, and it out there wouldn't let go, no matter how fast I drove. Cold sweat ran down my face, the steering wheel slick in my hands. It wasn't just fear of it. It was fear of having nowhere left to hide. of not having a safe spot. My safe place was broken, invaded. I kept going, but I knew it was no use. That image, the kid walking backward, it was stuck in my head. It wouldn't leave. It was like it had marked me inside, you know? Something I knew I'd carry forever. On every road, with every horn blast. The fear wasn't just of it anymore. It was of myself, of never having peace again. I drove for hours, my rig a blur. Her image faded from the side mirror, but the feeling didn't. The cab, my home, became a box of anxiety. Every shadow on the road looked like her. Exhaustion hit me, but my mind wouldn't quit. A fear stuck to me, wouldn't leave. Getting back to normal? Impossible. The cab, my home, turned into a cage. Every horn made me jump, reminding me of that night. Shadows on the roadside. Any movement. I saw her. I wouldn't stop at any truck stop. Not even the busy ones. Not the abandoned ones. I just wanted to drive, non-stop. Maybe until the engine blew. My mind wouldn't shut off. Exhaustion hit me, but fear kept me wired, waiting for the next scare. Solitude, once peace, was now a cold emptiness. A constant reminder I was alone with it. Now, any kid on the roadside, even in daylight, gave me the chills. At night, though, it was pure panic. Any sound in the rig, a creak, a groan, made me break out in a cold sweat. I checked the mirror, thinking I'd see something behind me. Solitude turned into hell, because I couldn't even trust what I saw anymore. My head was a mess. I tried telling Sarah. The words felt hollow. The story sounded crazy. How do you even explain a head turning, a kid walking backwards? She hugged me, said it was exhaustion, a nightmare. Her look, it was pity, not understanding. Right there, I knew I was alone, and she couldn't pull me back. Nobody would get what I saw. It was just mine. The image of the kid, head turned, walking backwards. A constant flash in my mind. A scar nobody could see, but it hurt all the time. What was that thing? I'd ask myself. No answer. The uncertainty ate at me, taking away my peace and my control. It wasn't just my rig invaded. It was my mind. Every horn on the road, a bitter reminder of the day everything changed inside me.